Imagine your marketing system automatically knowing whether it's a holiday and sending the perfect message and setting proper expectations for things like new lead confirmation and missed call text back. This is exactly what I'm going to show you how to do using HighLevel with a few smart automations so that you can set it up once and never have to change it no matter which day holidays happen to fall on from year to year. So in this video, I'm going to cover three things. First is whether HighLevel has this built in to handle holiday messaging out of the box. Second, the three different methods for setting up your system so you can pick the one that's best for your situation. And third, the simple way to bolt this onto any of your existing workflows so your entire system, your entire HighLevel setup becomes holiday smart in minutes. The way I came to this solution is when one of my clients messaged me on a holiday, that dreaded after hours message. The message said, "Hey, if it's not too hard, can you tell HighLevel that today is a holiday so that new leads get the message as if it's after hours?" Obviously, this is a great idea, and honestly, I felt a little foolish for not having thought of this myself and having already done it. I had already set things up for after hours so that messaging is different depending on whether it's business hours or not, but I hadn't done it for holidays yet. Then I started thinking through how to actually do this. Naturally, my first thought was, I wonder if it's built into HighLevel. It has a bunch of other settings and capabilities, so I checked, and it's not. Then I thought, all right, what's the best way to build this? I was able to come up with three ways, and I'll show you all three of these ways so you can choose the best one that is the right fit for your situation. Honestly, the third option is pretty darn slick, and while it's a bit more work, I'd be willing to bet that's the one that you choose to go with. When I started sketching out ways to build this, I first thought whether to use custom fields or custom values. While they are very similar and people get them confused oftentimes, custom values are the way to go in this situation, and here's why. Custom values are used for dynamic content that are available system-wide across any contact for use in any workflow, whereas custom fields are specific for each individual contact record and for use only by the contact record for which they belong. What I needed was a global value to indicate whether it was a holiday or not that could be used in any workflow for any contact. So custom values are what we need. All right, now with that part out of the way, the solution is a multi-part build, and so we're going to build all of those parts in the coming minutes of this video. Now, no matter whether you choose to go with method 1, 2, or 3, you'll need at least one custom value and an if-else action that you can add to any workflow as a modifier to that workflow. Let's start with method 1. This is the easiest to implement, although not all that practical for most use cases, as it requires manually editing the custom value whenever it is a holiday. But it might be right for your situation, so let me show you and you can make the choice yourself. All right, so to start, we're going to create a custom value and then use that custom value in an existing workflow, modify that workflow to be able to send a person down whether it's holiday or not. So to start with, we'll go to settings and then come into custom values and create a new custom value. We're going to call it holiday status. If I can spell, there we go. And we're just going to give it a value of normal for now. This will make more sense here in a couple steps. So we're just going to create that for now. Successfully added. All right, so now we're going to come back to an automation and go into our workflows. Have a holiday modifier demo folder here that we're going to use. And I'm just using the recipe for missed call text back. Obviously, in my example with my client, it was for new lead notifications. And this illustrates the point that this truly is a bolt-on system idea. Doesn't matter if it's missed call text back, new lead, or anything else, that you need to modify the flow based on whether it's a holiday or not. So for simplicity's sake, we're going to use the missed call text back. So what we're going to do is, this is the standard missed call text back recipe that comes with HighLevel. I deleted one of the notifications, just kept this SMS notification, but everything else is the same. So what we're going to do is add in a if-else action here, right above the SMS that's going to go to the lead. So again, if you remember in my example, we want the messaging to be different going to the lead, whether it's a holiday or not. If it's not a holiday, normal messaging is fine. If it's a holiday, we want to have different messaging to set expectations on when to expect contact, callback, whatever your next action is, whatever you're saying in that SMS, have that be different. All right, back to the show here. If else, we're going to add in if else, and what we're going to do is evaluate holiday status. And then what we're going to do here is first branch is holiday status equals true, something like that. I just like to name these branches to indicate more clearly what's going on in each branch. So this branch is going to be holiday status equals true, and then we're going to come in here and look for the custom values options down here. I only have 2 custom values, so super easy to find. If not, you can use this little search option here. If you have a ton, you can search doing that. So holiday status is holiday. Obviously, right now, the custom value, as I set it, was normal, right? Because right now it's not a holiday, I'm just setting it up. So holiday status is holiday. If that is true, I want it to come down this branch. If it is not true, meaning it's not a holiday, if the status would be anything other than a holiday in that custom value, then go down this other branch. And so what we want to do is copy this action, SMS, and paste it right here. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to come in here and modify this messaging, again, to set expectations so our new lead, or in this case, the missed call, the person calling knows that it's a holiday for us. All right, so what I've done is I've modified the messaging to acknowledge that it's a holiday. So you'll see here it says, we're taking the day off for the holiday, but we'd love to help. Same question after that, again, to keep them engaged, get them sending some information back so that we do have that information. Once we get back to work, we can respond. Plus, it'll help to minimize the chance that they're going to try to call somebody else, again, because they have engaged and they just want their problem solved. And if we're engaging and we can solve their problem, they'll likely stick around and not call someone else. All right, so modify the messaging, save action. We still want this to happen. I have a different video on how to handle after hours notifications. For the simplicity of this video, we can just copy this action over to here like so. Alternatively, just to kind of give you another way to do it, is we could add in a go-to action here and then go over here. All right, so we simply add a go-to action. It'll flow back over here to the SMS assigned to the user. Again, I have another video on how to handle these notifications when it's after hours, holidays, that sort of thing. So go and watch that one if you want to handle this in a little bit more sophisticated way. All right, so that's method 1. So essentially all we have to do is set up that custom field that we just did and then add in this if-else modifier to anywhere, any workflow where we want the flow to be different based on whether it's a holiday or not. Now, as you might be thinking right now, this isn't exactly super automated, right? Because this depends on the custom value being changed. And right now, we have to manually come in to the settings in that custom value area and change this custom value every time it's a holiday, which means somebody on your team or you have to go in, say, 4th of July, early morning or the previous day, change it to holiday, and then on the 5th of July, come in and change it back to normal. Not exactly ideal, but if that's fits you, then this is the way to do it. Super simple, and you're done. All right, now for method number 2. This is the automated way of doing what we just built. We're going to use everything that we just built and add on to it. So if you don't want to have to come in and manually switch out the holiday status every time it's a holiday, and when it's not a holiday, then what we're going to do is build out an automation that is a helper automation. So switching over to my workflows area, I've already built this out to help in streamlining this explanation process. This is a little bit more involved to build out, but I'm going to show you step by step so you can do it. What we need is a holiday, I'm calling it the holiday helper automation. It's a holiday status switcher. So what is in this automation? There is no trigger, and that's on purpose. We're going to start it from another, we're going to actually start it manually, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a series of actions for each holiday. Now these 5 actions are for one holiday. And so for every single holiday that you want to have this apply to, then you want to have these same set of 5 actions duplicated again and again for each holiday. Now I'll explain what each one is, and then I'll show you how to duplicate it very simple and very quickly. So first off, I'm going to start with New Year's. Obviously, that's the first holiday of the year. And I'm using the event start date action. This event start date action is very flexible. It can allow you to do it based off of these 3 options: custom field, specific day and time, or date and time, or a specific day. Now we're going to use this specific day and time, and then we're simply going to manually select the holiday for which we are filling this out. So again, this is New Year's Day, so obviously it's the first day of the year. Very simple. Save action. Next action is the wait action. So this is simply a wait action, then you wait for the event/appointment time, and this is going to wait according to the event that was most recent, previous in the upflow of the workflow. So this will make more sense once we add more of these, but essentially anytime you add another holiday event start date and then have a wait action after that, it's going to wait based off of the event start date that is most recent to it, not further up in the workflow. So hopefully that makes sense. If not, follow along and you'll get it. All right, so wait action, we're going to set, and again, I like to name these, especially you're gonna have a bunch of these in this workflow, so naming them helps them all stay clear as to what they are. So this wait action is specifically waiting for the holiday date. And we want it to run on the exact time of this January 1st at 12 a.m. So it's gonna run at exactly that time. And once it hits that time, it's going to go to this action next, and this action is going to run. And this is the update custom value action. And we select the holiday status custom value that we set in the previous method. And then we're going to give it a new value of holiday. Obviously, current value is normal. And so we're going to automatically update this to holiday once it is the holiday. Then the next action is to wait again. And we're going to wait for the next day after the holiday. And so again, we're going to use the event appointment time, and we're going to wait until 1 day after the event or appointment time. In our case, it's the event. And then we're going to, once that runs, once it is 1 day after the holiday, then this action will run. And again, it's another update custom value, or we're going to set this value back to normal. Now, as this is running, flipping between holiday status and normal status, going back into our miscalled text back workflow, this is where it's going to automatically allow this to run appropriately. So it'll run one way when it's a holiday, and the other when it's normal, it's going to go down the other branch. All right, back to the holiday helper status switcher workflow. Now, obviously, this is just going to be for the New Year's Day holiday. And so what we want to do, like I said, we want to duplicate this for all of the holidays throughout the year. And then at the end of the year, between Christmas and New Year's, or whatever your last holiday is, assuming it's Christmas and then New Year's, you'll want to update these for the next year so that once the New Year's comes, this date will then be accurate because you will have set it between Christmas of the current year and New Year's of the next year. So that's what we're going to do. So in the United States, next major holiday after New Year's is going to be Memorial Day. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use copy and then copy all actions from here. And then that allows me to very quickly and easily duplicate that whole set of actions again. And then I'm simply going to come in here and rename everything. All right, so I rename it Memorial Day. I'm going to set this to whatever the Memorial Day date is for 2025. All right, so Memorial Day 2025 is May 26th right here. And so that's saved. We're going to just double check all these again. It's waiting until this date that was set in this event start date action. Then it's going to switch the custom value to holiday, and then it's going to wait 1 day until after the event start date action up here, and then it's going to flip it back to normal. All right, so again, you just want to do this for every single holiday that you're going to have holiday logic running. All right, so once you get this fully built out, after the last holiday, which is probably going to be Christmas, most likely, what you want to do, and we'll assume that this one is Christmas, not Memorial Day. What you want to do is add in a task and a notification to whoever's in charge of updating this so that they know between Christmas and New Year's Day, they need to update all of these for the next year. So simply, we're going to come in here and add a task so that it shows up on their task page in HighLevel. And we're going to put in a title, something like, and then put in a description, put in the name of the workflow so they know exactly where to go. Assign it to a person, whoever's responsible for this. Go ahead and save the action, and then if they have the mobile app installed, they will get notified of this task if they have notifications turned on. All right, so notifications for a task should go to the person that the task is assigned to if they have, we're in the My Staff, if they have notifications set to allow that. And that's right here under task notifications. So just as a fail-safe, what I like to do is add in another internal notification is what it's called. And then again, fail-safe SMS is going to always get it to them. If you choose this option and they don't have the mobile app and they don't have notifications turned on, they still won't see the notification. So this is an important task that they do, otherwise it's not going to run properly on the first of the year. So I'm going to assign it to a particular user and select my test user. You can select more than one if you'd like. And then I'm going to just put in the same message as what's here. All right, so there we go. We got the message in there. It's going to now send an SMS to the assigned user. All right, the last couple of items to add in as action steps into this workflow are a wait action for this task to be completed. So however long you think it might take for whoever's assigned to that task to complete the task, that's how long you should set this wait action for. So I'm just gonna set it for, if it's in between Christmas and New Year's, you have a week. So I would say probably 5 days should be sufficient. Give that person that's assigned to the time to complete that. Now, once the wait action is in there, we want this workflow to repeat every year. And it's really simple to do this. I love how easy HighLevel makes this, makes it to be able to do this. So what we need to do is add in called a go to action, click save, and then just simply go to the very top of your workflow and connect it there. And then there you go. It'll repeat every year from here on out. All right. Now the final step to be able to activate this workflow is to be able to add a contact to it. Every workflow, as you probably know, is activated or run according to a contact or at the contact level. You can't just have a workflow run without a contact running through it. So what we're going to do is create a dummy contact for the sole purpose of putting them into this workflow so that they can run through this workflow year after year after year and set the custom values according to what we just set up. So I'm going to switch over to the contacts area and just add a new contact and call it Holiday Helper. Do not delete. This way, internally, we know nobody should delete this. And I'm going to go ahead and save it. You don't even need a phone or any other information. We just need a contact record. And what we're going to do is come down here to the automations area and try to add. It's not going to allow us because it's not activated. So what we're going to need to do is come over here and publish, save, and then come back over here, reload. All right, now that the automation has been published, I can come in here, find the workflow, Holiday Helper, Holiday Status Switcher. Going to go ahead and add it to that. and it is now running. So all of those actions are going to be running. The custom value will automatically switch between holiday and normal according to how we set it up. All right, so there's method 2. It's much more automated. All you have to do is once per year go into the helper workflow and set the holiday dates according to the holidays in the coming year, and then it's going to work just fine. However, if you don't even want to do that, if you truly want to just set it up one time and then never have to think about it again, there's method number 3. So with method number 3, we're going to take what we built in method number 2 and enhance it with ChatGPT. What we will need to do this is another workflow, that's another helper workflow to set all of the dates using ChatGPT, and then we're going to use those dates in what we already built. Plus, we will need a few additional custom values, one custom value for each holiday that we will also use in this additional helper workflow. All right, so now let's build it. All right, going back into the workflows area, I've created a new workflow called Holiday Helper Holiday Date Setter. Now this is the one we're going to use ChatGPT. Built out 2 of the steps so far just to illustrate more quickly what we're going to be doing. If you've never used ChatGPT, it's built right into HighLevel, which is really cool. You just search for chat, and it's going to be this one down towards the bottom. It is a premium action, so there is a small cost for each time you use it. It should be very, very minimal. You're running it once per year to set the dates for however many holidays you're observing in your business for that year. So again, should be pennies or very, very cheap. All right, get out of there, come into this one, show you what I did. So it doesn't really matter which model you use. Action type is going to be custom, and then this is the prompt. So for the new year, this is, again, thinking back to method 2 and how I explained that. Between Christmas and New Year's of the next year, we're going to have this workflow run, and therefore, when it runs, it'll still be in the current year, not the next year. So this is why I wrote this prompt the way that it is. So I said the current year is right now, and this is just one of the tags that is available right here. If you go to right now, and then down here it says year right now. That's what we need. That's what this one is. So current year is right now. Give me the date for New Year's Day for next year. So again, if this is running in 2025, I don't want the New Year's date for 2025. I want it for next year, right? And so please respond with only the date and with it in this format, month, day, year. So this is the format that we need to be able to save it to a custom value, to be able to use it in the set action or the set date action in the other workflow. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now, update custom value. So this is the next important step. So using the update custom value action, we're going to add in a new custom value. So I'm going to switch over to show you what I did over here. So I'm in custom values. Just for now, I've added just these 2 to illustrate, but you would want to add a new custom value for every single holiday that you'll be observing throughout the year. So right now I have New Year's Day and Memorial Day. And what we're going to do is we're going to populate this value with the response from the previous action from ChatGPT. And to get this to populate, I'll show you again here real quick. We're going to go into this and then scroll down towards the bottom. You'll see this option, and then it's going to give you however many of these you have in your workflow. It'll show up in this option, and I simply want the response. So what's going to happen is ChatGPT will respond according to the prompt that we gave it with a date in this format, and this works really well. I've tested it several times with clients, live production, it works. So we want it in this format. It's going to respond in that format, and we're going to merge, put that value, that response into this custom value so that we can then use it in a later workflow. And I'll show you. It's the other helper workflow, but I'll connect all the dots here in a second. So, all right, save action. And we're going to simply do this, and let's update this. So this says New Year's, again, just to help us stay clear. And then we're going to copy all actions and paste it right here. And then we're going to do this for Memorial Day as well. So give me the date for New Year's. We're going to switch this out to Memorial Day. for next year. We still want it to say next year. Please respond in the same way as the previous one, so we're good there. And then what we're gonna do is just change that to Memorial Day. And custom value, we wanna change this as well. We're going to select our Memorial Day custom value, and then we're gonna come in here, scroll down, GPT, response number 2, response. There we go. And again, just copy and rinse and repeat for every single holiday that you're going to be observing. And then once you do that, it's set and you can save it and publish it. And what we're going to do to actually populate this, again, we need a contact to run through this so that it'll actually run and populate these custom values according to the ChatGPT responses. So the way you would do that is just go back into your dummy contact record, and we're going to go find this record here, and we're going to add it right here, and it's going to be the dates setter workflow, like so, and then add. I'm not going to actually run it right now. All right, so going back over here into our workflows, we're going to just connect the dots, tie up all the loose ends, make sure everything makes sense. So coming back into our switcher workflow, this is the one that we set up in the method 2 to switch between holiday status and normal status. These now need to be swapped out, because if you remember, we set these using a specific date and time as the type. What we actually need now, because these will be set dynamically by ChatGPT and the other helper workflow, so we now need to use the custom values that are set by that other helper workflow. So what we're going to do is custom field, and then instead of typing in something here, we're going to use the merge options, and we're going to go into custom values down here at the bottom, and we're going to use our holiday helper fields. And again, you'll have as many as holiday helper custom value fields as you do holidays that you observe. So we're going to choose New Year's Day for this one. Save, and all of these are going to stay the same. These are all just, you don't have to mess with any of these. These are all just going to stay the same. It's just these ones that are the event start date. You need to come into these, each of these event start date, switch over to custom value, and then choose the appropriate custom value field from this selector, like so. And then again, you just go all the way down the list for every single holiday, switch those out, and you're set. All right, 2 more small little modifications to this workflow before it is ready to go live. If you remember from method 2, we added in this wait action and the go to action. The go to action is still good, just leave it as it is. The wait action can be modified here in a second, but we actually need to add in one more action item right above the wait action. We're going to add to workflow. And then we're going to add this to the holiday helper holiday date setter. This is the one that has the ChatGPT action in it. The reason for doing this is we want to add this dummy contact every year. Once it gets to this point in this workflow that we're in, add it to the other workflows so that the ChatGPT actions can set the dates for the new holiday dates in the next year. So simply adding in this action right here will allow that to happen. This wait action can be reduced to anything less. I mean, the other workflow will take maybe a few minutes to run. It depends on how quickly ChatGPT responds. It's normally pretty quickly. There's no harm in leaving this at 5 days, or you can set it to something to like 5. I would do something longer than 5 minutes, maybe just say 60 minutes to be really safe, to make sure that ChatGPT has ample opportunity to run. I have had it take several, like 10 or 20 minutes, several minutes to run fully, maybe depending on usage, how heavily used ChatGPT is. I don't know, but just to be safe, set it to like 60 minutes or so. And that's it. That's all the modifications you need to make to this in order for the other workflow to run nicely. The ChatGPT workflow will run once per year with that dummy contact. It'll set all of the custom values using ChatGPT that will then be used. Those custom values will then be used in this workflow, setting the holiday status to either holiday or normal. And then that custom value status field will then be used anywhere that you have the if else action in to evaluate for holiday to send it down the holiday path or the normal path. All right, two quick little pro tips here. If there are holidays like potentially Christmas, Thanksgiving, that as a business you observe more than one day off, you can simply set this wait action in this holiday helper workflow to wait this one right here. So let's say this was Thanksgiving. Most businesses take Thursday and Friday off. So instead of one day that you're waiting, you would just set this to two. And then that would account for a 2 day day off period instead of a 1 day off period. All right, the other pro tip is going back into the other holiday helper, the dates setter workflow that uses the ChatGPT action. Obviously, there are some holidays that may fall on a weekend, like 4th of July or Christmas, whereas other holidays like Memorial Day and Thanksgiving are always on the same day of the week. So it's easier to set your holiday status based off of, okay, Memorial Day is always a Monday. We're just going to take that Monday off, or Thanksgiving's Thursday, and we're going to take Thursday and Friday off. So those are simple. But if it's Christmas, which is the 25th, obviously, and that falls on a different day every week, or 4th of July, same deal, you can actually prompt ChatGPT, obviously, actually January 1st is a good example. So you could add into this prompt that if it happens to fall on a Saturday, move it to a Friday. If it happens to fall on a Sunday, move it to a Monday. And that way, this date that it responds with, that is then used in the custom value, is going to be either the Friday before or the Monday after. So again, just a couple of little pro tips to help you out with method number 3 to make it even more automated and hands-off. All right, now you've got this cool new set of workflows so your system knows exactly when it is a holiday. This way, it can automatically adjust what types of messages are sent during the holidays versus normal business hours, using AI to automatically adjust for each year's holidays. But as you've built this out, you may have had this nagging feeling in the back of your mind. Should you handle internal notifications differently during holidays for things like new leads or missed calls? My answer is yes, you should. And you should do it in a way that doesn't pester your team throughout a weekend, after hours, or especially on holidays. I've got another video right here that shows you how I like to set up an internal notification system for your team. This way you'll never miss an important notification without creating a situation where you always have to be checking your phone or email when you should be relaxing. All you need to do now is click over to watch that video. See you over there.